Hello everyone and welcome to Film and TV Nerds review of WWE WrestleMania 32. Now I realise this is a week overdue, but hey, better late than never. First off, we're going to look at the whole match card from start to finish. There were 12 matches in total. That includes a 3 in the pre-show. It was a long pay-per-view, around about 4 hours and 50 minutes, the longest pay-per-view in WWE history, which also brought the largest crowd in WWE history. The reports circulating that it wasn't quite the number that they had announced on the show. It was a little bit lower, but nonetheless, the biggest crowd in WWE WrestleMania history is very impressive. First of all, let's look at Kalisto defending his United States Championship against the big guy, Ryback, in the first match of the pre-show. Very interesting choice to have as the first match. The arena wasn't quite full yet. I understand there was some delays scanning tickets, so a lot of fans weren't able to get into the arena. So unfortunately, it was very distracting watching this, as the arena was just empty. It was only partially filled. It was almost like a Raw crowd, but very more scattered out. I'm not quite sure why the United States Championship was the opener. If anything, if you're going to have a championship on the pre-show, make that the last match on the pre-show. I mean, treat the title with some kind of respect. The championship has fallen from grace. Since John Cena's US Open Challenge, quite frankly. It's kind of back and forth between Del Rio and Kalisto. But, Kalisto's a good solid worker. I'm sure given the opportunities, he would be a good United States champion. I haven't quite seen that yet. This match went 9 minutes and 1 second. It was okay. It was okay. In my opinion, I had Ryback picked to win this originally, but from the outset, it was pretty obvious to me that was wrong, just because of the pacing of the match and the formula. Ryback bullying Kalisto, using his power, his aggression, his cockiness as a new heel. It was what it was. Ryback was dominating through, I'd say, about 75% of this match. Then there was a flurry by Kalisto. A few kicks. He hits the Salida del Sol and gets the 1, 2, 3. It's just a shame that no one saw this unless you were watching at home. I mean, the fans were entering the arena and they must have been very distracted. So Kalisto gets a win, but it's not a memorable win. This could have happened on a Raw or a SmackDown. The match itself, nothing wrong with it at all. They told a story, just not a very good one. I hope in the coming weeks and months that the United States Championship is raised in value once again. Kalisto has all the properties to be a great champion, but treating him as the next Rey Mysterio may not be the way to go. Start treating him like the new Kalisto, because quite frankly, he's never going to live up to that reputation. And dressing him like Rey Mysterio and treating him like Rey Mysterio will be damaging to Kalisto's career, because he'll always be in that shadow until he finds his own way of connecting with the crowd, rather than nostalgia. Nothing wrong with Kalisto's in-ring skills. I think they should break away from the Lucha Dragon thing, perhaps turn Sin Cara heel. Is that interesting? I'm not quite sure, because you can't have a promo with Sin Cara. If anything, in the coming weeks and months, I would have Kalisto feud with John Cena, if I'm honest, and raise the value that way. I'd have a few half-hour matches on Raw, SmackDown between these guys. I'll let them go to full. I'll let them go to time limit. I'll let it be a draw. Look like Kalisto can hang with a main eventer, make that title matter again. It really did last year. It can again. They just have to put the effort in. Moving on to the second match of the evening on the pre-show, we had Team Total Divas. Brie Bella, Paige, Natalya, Alicia Fox, and Eva Marie. Why are you there, Eva Marie? Why? And they faced Team Bad and Blonde. That's the team of Lana, Naomi, Tamina, Emma, and Summer Rae. This match was a 10 Diva tag team match and went for 11 minutes and 25 seconds. If I'm honest with you, I didn't have a team picked out here because I kind of forgot it was on the pre-show. It wasn't mentioned that much. It wasn't hyped up that much compared to the rest of the card. It was very forgettable. It was very generic. If anything, this would have felt better as a Survivor Series match. It would have felt more in tone with the pay-per-view. It felt like they were there for the sake of getting them all on the card. But it was okay. It was alright. We had some decent action back and forth. One thing to notice was how good Team Bad and Blonde looks. Emma looks fantastic as a heel. I really hope they do something with her. She has a great look, great in-ring ability. Do something with Emma, because right now she looks amazing. Lana, stepping out of her role as the mouthpiece, the ravishing Russian, can wrestle. She looks fantastic as well. She almost donned a new identity. She hit some very impressive looking kicks. The heels looked considerably better than the faces in this match. That's all due respect to the faces, but the heels outshone them just completely here. So the team of Total Divas went over here. It was okay. It wasn't too bad. It was back and forth. It wasn't anything special. Again, the arena was only partially filled to capacity, and I'm sure those who were going to the seats weren't really paying attention to the action because, quite frankly, it was just a throwaway match. It was just a match to get them all on the card. Then, after the match concluded, we had Nikki Bella come out in a neck brace and celebrate with the team of Total Divas, which was fine. It was a moment because we all know the rumours going around that that retirement is imminent for the Bellas. That's happening, and that's known. They got a moment, but again, it was on the pre-show, and it wasn't that big a deal, quite frankly. I'm sure there's going to be something else to come along on Raw or SmackDown or a pay-per-view down the road, but for them, this is their last WrestleMania, as far as the rumour mill says anyway. So hopefully they'll get a bit more recognition. I have nothing against the Bellas. They've been fine. They've been okay. They haven't been the Trish Stratus and the Lita of the WWE Divas division for the past few years, but they've been okay. They've improved a hell of a lot in the ring, and it's going to be sad to see them go. But at the same time, we're ushering in a new era of women's wrestling, and that's exciting, and it's a passing of the torch. So hopefully we'll have the send-off that they deserve. One thing I did find quite peculiar, though, was that Nikki and Brie are celebrating in the ring, and it's their farewell WrestleMania, and they, on the network at least, they cut to an advert. They cut to a commercial, which, it was kind of like, hey, you've done so much for us, now we're advertising this. To cut right away, and it was very, very odd. We also had Lita come out on the pre-show. Lita unveils the new WWE Women's Championship. And she does a promo saying that this isn't, we're not having divas anymore, we're having women's wrestling. And that's fine, that's great. They are stepping in the right direction with that, completely. But to have that following this match where Team Total Divas won, for Lita to come out and say, divas are the past, women are the future. It's kind of like, hey, yeah, you won your match. Doesn't matter. You represent the dying breed of women in the WWE under this name, Total Divas. So it wasn't intended to be like that, and perhaps it's me nitpicking, but poor placement by WWE there, I think. Lita also mentioned that this is the first ever WWE Women's Championship, which a little bit perplexing, I must admit, because Lita is I think she's a 4-time Women's Champion. Very odd for her to say first ever WWE Women's Championship. It was odd. There's been so many great Women's Champions over the years. Alundra Blaze, Trish Stratus, Jacqueline went into the Hall of Fame this WrestleMania. She was a former WWE Champion herself, WWE Women's Champion herself. So I'm going to assume on this part it was a mistake for Lita. She's never been that great as a promo person, so perhaps it was just a slip, which is forgivable. It happens, but yeah, if she meant it, it's kind of very odd. That I get they want to create a new era of women's wrestling, but you have to embrace your history as well, which is saying WWE seem to go back and forth on, either completely ignore something or they embrace it and they do so to the point of overkill. But that's the title itself, the new WWE Women's Championship, looks great. I like the fact it looks very similar to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It puts almost the women and the men on the same level, and that's the way to go forward, definitely. And I look forward definitely to seeing what these women can do from now on. The third match of the evening was the last of the pre-show, and went 5 minutes 18 seconds, as it was the Usos versus the Dudley Boys. It was okay. It wasn't anything special. I had the Dudleys to win here, personally. But it felt very rushed. The Usos hit super kicks galore. They are overusing that move. They're just too many super kicks. It's almost as if someone in the back said, "Hey, the fans love when you do a super kick. Do as many as you can." And they won. They won with a super kick. And this isn't their finishing move, as far as I'm aware. It's just a move they do now. It's a shame. It's a shame ever since Shawn Michaels retired that super kicks have been so overly exposed, because when Shawn Michaels hit it, you knew it was over. Now you got the Usos and Dolph Ziggler constantly hitting these things. It just takes away that little edge that the super kick used to have. It takes away that impact that you knew this guy was down, and that was it. Dudley's trash talking in a match. I can't get enough of Bubba Ray. That man is gold. He can cut a promo with the best of them. Seriously, he can do amazing things. Even when he's just trash talking in the ring, it's brilliant. You can see the years he spent in ECW with Paul Heyman has really rubbed off on him, and he just knows how to cut a promo with the best of them. Post-match, the Dudley Boys got the tables. Weeks and weeks have gone by where they said they no longer want to be recognised buy a piece of furniture. That's not their legacy, and yet they still got the tables out at WrestleMania. No explanation why. It's very odd. Dudleys and tables go hand in hand. Triple H and a sledgehammer goes hand in hand. Hacksaw Jim Duggan and a 2x4 go hand in hand. There's no shame in having this gimmick, but for whatever reason, the writers at WWE wanted this to happen, and then they just got the tables out without rhyme or reason, and there's no explanation why. Even the announce team sounds a little bit confused when they start getting the tables out. They say, "What? What's going on here?" But at the moment, no explanation has been offered, and I'm very doubtful there will be. Dudley Boys ended up going through the tables themselves at the hand of splashes from the Usos. The crowd half cheered, half booed. It was a more of a seated crowd by this point. We're getting closer to kickoff. But yeah, the Usos aren't doing it for me at the moment, if I'm honest. The Usos are just... It's going to sound quite odd, but the Usos are the John Cena's of the WWE Tag Team Division. Not in terms of wins and losses and titles, because that they can't be compared, or in terms of perhaps overexposure. In terms, I'm referring to in terms of they wear the bright shirts. Their move set is becoming more and more limited. They seem to repeat super kick and splashes, and they do appeal more to kids, I think. At this stage of the game, they aren't doing anything to stand out. They come out to the chants. They do their catchphrases. They have the bright colours. They have the fireworks. They are there simply as entertainment for kids in that division, as far as I'm concerned. Which is a shame, because the Usos are very talented. But right now, it's obvious they can't compare to the New Day, and unfortunately, that's the way it goes. So WrestleMania begins with the ladder match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. It was a 7-person ladder match that went 15 minutes and 23 seconds. We had Kevin Owens, the champion, defending against Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn, Sin Cara, Stardust, The Miz, and Zack Ryder. As with all multi-man matches, it was a spot fest. But there was nothing wrong with that. It got the crowd excited for WrestleMania. It was a good choice for an opener. Absolutely. It was put together very well. I did feel that Dolph Ziggler didn't contribute to the match as much as the other people did. You had Sami Zayn at the forefront of the match, Sin Cara with his big spot. We had Stardust bringing out the ladder with the polka dots. We had the Miz hitting some big moments. Yeah, obviously Zack Ryder with the shock of the night, quite frankly. But we'll get into that a little bit more in a second. I feel personally that you could have taken a feud guy. This could have been rearranged completely. This match, I personally miss one-on-one ladder matches. You should have had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have that 15 minutes and 23 seconds ladder, title, go, match of the night. Because they're capable. They have such great chemistry. Go back to their ROH days. Go back to their NXT days. These guys can do this forever and still be amazing. I'm talking... I'll probably get a little bit of heat for this. But these two have chemistry that, quite frankly, matches Benoit and Guerrero. Not in terms of in-ring style or charisma, because I don't think we can ever reach that level again. But these two have that chemistry, and they can put on a clinic any given day of the week. So personally, I would have those two have a singles match. Again, I say Dolph Ziggler didn't do too much. I would have perhaps had him face Bray Wyatt. He's been with the company for 10 years, has Dolph Ziggler. Never had a singles match at WrestleMania, which is very odd. But, a few weeks ago, he was wrestling Triple H in a great, great match. Bray Wyatt was advertised to do nothing. I would have had these two in a singles match as well. The other competitors, Sin Cara, Stardust, The Miz and Zack Ryder, quite frankly, they would have gone to the Battle Royal. That's just the way I would have booked it. You had 5 hours on the show. There wasn't more than enough time to do this. But, it's just my opinion. Zack Ryder obviously stole the match. He got you can see the fans' faces going, wow, did that just happen? Zack Ryder's father joining him in the ring. Amazing moment as he took down The Miz at the very last second to become the WWE Intercontinental Champion. I had Kevin Owens to retain in this match. So I really wasn't doing well on my bets. And at WrestleMania 31, I got all of my bets right, apart from Sting. Because, well, let's face it, Sting should have won. But in this match, when Zack Ryder won, the problem was, I could see it coming a mile away. He was going to lose it the very next night on Raw. I knew it. I just felt it. It was a great moment. I'm sure he's happy with it. I'm sure he was ecstatic with it. But I knew he was going to lose the title. I fought back to Kevin Owens personally. But yeah, The Miz is a 5-time Intercontinental Champion now. And Zack Ryder is, quite frankly, relegated once again. I'm sure it may be to get him back on the map for his team in the Hype Bros. But quite frankly, I don't see him recapturing that title. And I think it's just a way to get him back on the map. But, we'll have to see. Match 5 of the evening was Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles in a match that went 17 minutes and 10 seconds. In a match where I had AJ Styles pegged to win. Now, this was Jericho and Styles for the 4th time. No problem with it being the 4th time. I don't think it's been overexposed. AJ's still very new in the WWE. And, to be feuding with a solid, established worker like Chris Jericho, especially at WrestleMania, no problem with that whatsoever. The match was very good indeed. I didn't feel it was as good as their first Raw match, quite frankly, but it was solid. It had a few botches in it. Let's be honest. There was a few slips here and there. Chris Jericho has defended the match already and said that he's very happy with it, and he should be. It's a good match. It's just not as good as their previous encounters. No, but it was a great match. Jericho countered the phenomenal forearm with the code breaker, a little bit sloppy, to get the win. I was a little bit surprised by this. It seemed to me that it's the whole, I'm going to go back to this again, it's a Sting situation where if you're not one of Vince McMahon's creations, quite frankly, he doesn't put you over at WrestleMania. AJ Styles has to earn every bit of respect over again now he's in the WWE, and I'm sure he will do. I'm sure he will, be at the next 3 WrestleManias, and he's going to win. I don't know who he's going to face, but he's going to have his WrestleMania moment where he wins, and at the moment he's still paying his dues. Chris Jericho, incredible worker, always been a fan of his. He looks like he's starting to slow down a bit now, though. If if you compare him to 2001 Chris Jericho, I was watching it on the WWE Network not that long ago. Chris Jericho, Benoit, and Austin from King of the Ring in 2001. And then you compare it to 2016 Chris Jericho, you can see, no pun intended, a phenomenal difference. You can see Chris Jericho starting to look a little bit broken down, quite frankly. He's looking a bit tired these days. He's still miles better than a lot of the workers out there, but you can tell that time, quite frankly, is taking its toll on Jericho, and I'll be amazed if he can continue on like this. He has a match at Payback against Dean Ambrose now, which is fine, but honestly, I don't see Jericho lasting another year, maybe a year or two before he calls it quits, before he can stop doing his part-time thing. Because at the moment, he's kind of been back full-time. He's been back since the Royal Rumble, and he's still going. But I don't see him doing this for much longer. With all due respect to Chris Jericho, he's contributed so much to the not just to the WWE, but to the business in itself. It's sad to see Chris Jericho get to the stage where it's not as fluid for him as it used to be. But he and AJ, perfect chemistry, perfect night, and it was a great match. Match number 6 of the evening was a 6-man tag team match, originally scheduled to be a handicap match. It was the League of Nations, the team of Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio, and Rusev, with King Barrett, going up against the New Day, Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods, the WWE Tag Team Champions. The titles were not on the line, and rightfully so, because I understand the free bird rule and all, but you have to draw lines and boundaries, for the championship. Otherwise, it becomes a free-for-all of rules, and it gets muddled, and we don't make much sense. The match went 10 minutes 3 seconds. Obviously, the highlight of the match was the beginning of the match, before the match, when the New Day came out of the box of Bootios. Fantastic entrance. The crowd loved it. I loved it at home. It was great. It was, it was special. At this point, I'm going, hey, WrestleMania, it looks phenomenal. It looks great. They put a lot of work into this year's WrestleMania. The entrances, the outfits, the Dragon Ball Z outfits, it all looked pretty impressive. League of Nations went over the New Day. That's fine. The New Day got their win back the very next night on Raw. They had already beaten them at Roadblock and the night after Roadblock. Oh, sorry, a couple nights after Roadblock. So, it's 50-50 booking at the moment, or maybe a little bit more in favour of New Day, but oh well. The match itself was fine. Nothing special, pretty much Raw quality, maybe SmackDown quality in terms of booking, but it was fine. It was okay. Nothing on the show has been terrible so far. Some of it's been average, some of it's been really good, but so far I'm pretty happy with this WrestleMania. Match number 7 on the card was the no-holds-barred street fight between Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose. Brock Lesnar, obviously accompanied by Paul Heyman, at 13 minutes and 6 seconds. I had Dean Ambrose to pick this one, and if I'm honest, he's been hyped up a lot. He's been doing these vignettes with Mick Foley receiving a barbed wire bat. He's been doing vignettes with Terry Funk, where he receives a chainsaw because, well, why not? Because WWE doesn't mind a bit of murder every now and again. The match was disappointing. At 13 minutes and 6 seconds, it was a hell of a lot shorter than I thought it would be. It was more one-sided than I wanted it to be. Brock Lesnar was suplexing Ambrose all over the place, and Ambrose took it like a champ. He doesn't do anything half-assed at all. He looks impressive whether he's giving the bump or he's taking the bump, and Ambrose took those like a champ. But wrong result. Brock Lesnar went over very easily. F5 onto a bunch of chairs. The chainsaw was not. It came out. It was not used, obviously, because that would be murder or attempted murder. I know it's no holds bar street fight. Yeah, there's limits. The barbed wire bat came out, swing and a miss, F5 on the chairs, Ambrose was done. I can't help but feel that, quite frankly, Brock Lesnar didn't want to take those bumps. He didn't want to take those hits. Lesnar, if we're being very honest, looked a bit out of shape. He had a bit of a gut. I'm very surprised by this. Lesnar's a big fitness guy, but he looks a little bit out of shape. Don't get me wrong, he's still in tremendous physical condition, but he just looked a little bit like he had a gut, and it was he just wasn't taking any bumps from Ambrose that really made him look weak. And I can't help but feel there's been some politicking somewhere for that to come across the way it has. Very disappointed with this match. First time, I'm looking at this, by the way, at match 7 of the card of the evening. I'm going, looking at the booking, and this is the stage I'm going, what's going on? Because, all my picks so far haven't won. And, some were meant to be predictable. I like it when WWE surprises us, but now we're getting into really iffy territory. Moving on. Match number 8 of the evening was the triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship, with Charlotte, the current Divas Champion, with Ric Flair versus Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. This match went 16 minutes and 3 seconds. Just first of all, the entrance from Sasha Banks and her cousin Snoop Dogg, great. I love the Eddie Guerrero tribute with the attire she was wearing. Becky Lynch got a nice entrance. It was her usual entrance, but on the WrestleMania stage, it looked amazing. Charlotte wearing Ric Flair's robe from WrestleMania 24. It had obviously been altered, but looks amazing. And the entrance, and I like her theme. It was treated like such a big deal. It was treated better than the main event, and that was very, very just awesome by WWE to push this as, okay, we're getting behind this now, and you're about to see something very special. And the match, best match of the night. I mean, the frog splash off the top by Sasha Banks, perfect. The Kurt Angle template design moonsault from the inside off the top to the outside by Charlotte, outstanding. These women had the match of the evening, and for the first time in a long time, the fans were really engaged in a WWE women's match, and they should be, because these women are absolute amazing wrestlers, not divas, wrestlers. The term diva is over. It's a thing of the past. We're moving on, as we should. I had Sasha Banks pencil in here, as did pretty much everyone, but due to distraction, which was a damn shame by Ric Flair, Charlotte retains. I understand, they want to keep Charlotte Flair the champion. I get that she shouldn't lose a Divas Championship, and that's it. She's the last ever Divas Champion. But I get they want to keep it on her. But Ric Flair really didn't need to interfere in this match. It kind of spoiled the ending a bit. These women are having a phenomenal match, and He had Old Man Flair collecting his paychecks for his ex-wife at ringside. Damn shame. Match of the night, nonetheless. I love the fireworks, by the way, inside and outside the arena. They treated it like such a big deal because it was a big deal. So congratulations to those 3 women. You stole the show at WrestleMania. Be damn proud of that. Match number 9 of the evening was the Hell in a Cell match between The Undertaker and Shane McMahon. If Shane wins, he will have control of Monday Night Raw, and The Undertaker will be barred from competing at WrestleMania ever again. I always thought that stipulation was kind of odd because they said he was going for control of Raw. They also kind of said that he's going for control of Raw / WWE. I know they push the word Raw more, but they did mention a few times that he was going for control of WWE, which kind of null and voided the Undertaker bar for competing at WrestleMania again rule, because I'm sure if Shane McMahon had won that match, he would have just said, "I'll forget about that, you can wrestle. Now, I'm in charge now, and I revoke that." But, logic. Who needs it? I had Shane McMahon pinned to win here. Really wasn't doing well with my predictions. I'm glad that I hadn't bet any money on this year. The match went 30 minutes and 5 seconds. It was the longest match on the card. That's probably about 10 minutes longer than it needed to be, quite frankly. The pacing was very slow, very awkward at some points. Both men looked kind of winded. Shane McMahon's punches don't look very effective. It's not just a case of looking effective against The Undertaker, they just don't look effective at all. They just don't. There was lots of back and forth. When Shane McMahon got the bolt cutters out and started to cut the cell, everyone knew what was leading up to. If you've got the WWE Network, look at the moments that both men go through the cell wall. Don't look at the men, look at the panel, because it lands on an announce table and it really nearly decapitates a Spanish announcer. It's very, very frightening to watch. He really does nearly smash a Spanish announcer's head. Really close. I mean, go back and watch it, it's there. I don't think that was part of Hell in a Cell. Kill one of the Spanish announcers. Maybe the table, but not the announcers. Obviously, we all knew it was coming. Shane McMahon jumps off of things. That's what he does. He had already previously hit the coast to coast. Little bit botched, but I'm not going to complain. The man, I think he's 47. He might be 48. I'm not quite sure. He's nearly 50. So, damn, that's very impressive. He kind of got one leg out to hit the bin into Taker, but a little bit botched, but still, I'm not complaining. It was very impressive. Then, obviously, Taker was laid out on the announce desk, and Shane went up to the top of the cage, and you can get a good perspective of how tall the Hell in a Cell is now. It used to be, I think they said when Shawn Michaels wrestled The Undertaker back in 1997 in the Hell in a Cell, the very first one, I swear they said it was 16 foot tall. Tall enough, right? This one is about 24 foot tall now, 25 foot tall. It's crazy tall. The fans were chanting, "Please don't die," because, quite frankly, God, it was a real risk. Obviously, Taker moved, Shane jumped off the top and went through the table. This is the credit to Shane McMahon for being gone as long as he has been for 7 years. He took that bump very safely. If you watch it, he's flat on his back, and that table takes all of that impact and then nicely just collapses. It's a thick table and it just collapses perfectly. Well done, very well planned, good looking bump. Love the reaction when Undertaker. Some of it probably quite genuine. He was looking at Shane McMahon saying, no, he couldn't believe it. Shane McMahon somehow back to his feet, asking Undertaker to bring more as he sat on the steel steps, saying, yeah, bring it. Taker takes him back in the ring. Tombstone. Game over. Undertaker wins. Shane McMahon's carted out. Gives the thumbs up to the crowd to a big pop. Outstanding match. 10 minutes too long. Bad pacing. Please, no more Hell in a Cell WrestleMania for a while. Please. Okay, so match number 10 of the evening was the very oddly placed 20-man Battle Royal for the Andre the Giant Memorial Trophy. This, in previous years, has been on the pre-show, and at this point I thought it had been cancelled because, quite frankly, due to time restrictions, and I'm watching it here live in the UK, and my god, it's like 4 in the morning at this point, and I am very, very tired and struggling to stay with this event, no matter how good it is. I won't list everyone in the Battle Royal, we'll just note the more notable names. Tatanka, he was there for some reason. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, hi Tatanka. Even the announcers seemed surprised to see you. Were you at a signing convention and you just got lost and decided to go with it? It's not as if we're going to see you again, you know. So there's no follow-up to that. So thanks for showing up. We had Mark Henry, who was my pick this witness, make a special, I wouldn't say special, his own entrance. We also had the usual Big Show, Kane, you had the Social Outcast. Shaq turns up. Yeah, not quite sure what it is. I get he's tall, and I get that, you know, in the storyline he has beef with The Undertaker because, you know, you tall people don't like each other, apparently. Okay. And of course, this went 9 minutes and 41 seconds with Baron Corbin winning from NXT. No, I'm pleased for Baron Corbin. It was a little bit shocking, but that's what WrestleMania is meant to be. He went from losing to Austin Aries, NXT takeover, to winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Trophy. But yeah, good for Baron Corbin. But honestly, and you know, I could be wrong, I don't see the hype in him. And quite frankly, I don't see him doing very well on the main roster. I don't see any titles in his future. Maybe a tag team championship. I don't see anything for him, unfortunately. He's very generic in style. In look, he has a unique look. But he's not for me. But I want him to prove me wrong. Very pleased for him, nonetheless. Match number 11 of the evening was a surprise match. First of all, The Rock came out and set his own name on fire. First of all, I thought he had a t-shirt gun. He didn't. He had a flamethrower. Okay. It's worth noting, by the way, that The Rock's entrance was longer than The Undertaker's entrance. And at this point, I'm just saying to myself, hurry up and get to the ring. It's like 20 past 4 in the morning. I want to go to bed. The Rock comes out and announces the attendance for the evening, which, as I touched on earlier, we're not quite sure the real figures. I understand that the real figure was around 97,000. You can understand why the WWE wants to boost it up to over 100,000 because that's the capacity of that huge stadium, you know. So, you know, but nonetheless, it did break records. If WWE want to fudge numbers a little bit, no harm. It's a record breaker nonetheless. Bray Wyatt comes out just to have a bit of a chat with The Rock, do his usual promo. God, what a waste of Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. Really, they weren't advertised for WrestleMania in any capacity whatsoever, and it's a damn shame. It's such a shame. Honestly, it is. Um, yeah. If anything, and this is how I would have done it personally. Like I say, I would have had Dolph Ziggler face Bray Wyatt earlier in the evening. They could have had give them 13 minutes, give them 15 minutes. They would have had a great match, no doubt. Or, if we're keeping the Intercontinental Championship match the same, I would remove the social outcasts from the Battle Royal, and I would put the Wyatt family in the Battle Royal. I would have Bray Wyatt win. They would dominate, and then the Wyatt family would eliminate themselves for Bray Wyatt. And then this segment here, with The Rock, I would have done with the social outcasts, because quite frankly, with the improv match that The Rock had with Eric Rowan lasting 6 seconds, it's more damaging to the Wyatts than it ever would have been to the social outcasts. You could have had The Rock pin Heath Slater in 6 seconds, and it would have been absolutely fine, because that's what they do. They laugh these things off. They could have come out and done the whole baby thing and cut just a decent promo. It's more damaging to the Wyatts than it would have been to the Outcasts. I think the WWE got that wrong. The beatdown by the Wyatts led to John Cena coming out. He was there. We knew he was going to be there in some capacity. We didn't know this. He looks like he's lost about 50 pounds, so good for John Cena. He looks in tremendous shape. He's not quite ready to come back yet, I understand. He's going to be back in about May, which will be interesting to see what he does from there. Segment was what it was, but honestly, when you've got a pay-per-view that lasts 5 hours, including pre-show, I was flagging, let alone the fans. The fans there must have been just wishing this match would, that the main event would just hurry up already. And moving on to the main event, it's match number 12 of the evening. Roman Reigns versus Triple H with Stephanie McMahon in his corner for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And the match there went 27 minutes. Probably about 27 minutes too long. Triple H gets another great entrance. Roman Reigns gets booed out of the building, quite frankly. But that's, we knew that was coming. I'm not surprised by that at all by this point. It was obvious it was going to happen even before WrestleMania was mentioned, that Reigns was going there and he was going to get booed out of the building. The match itself was fine. It was advertised some places as a no disqualification match, and it didn't happen. Obviously, the card is always subject to change, but I felt it could have been a no DQ match. It would have given the match a lot more zest. It would have given it a lot more grit. It would have given it a lot more just something to grab on to for the fans, rather than this back and forth match. Where a lot of it was Triple H dominating anyway, and the video package they gave Triple H made him look like such a badass and look like such an awesome champion. Why the hell would we want to boo for Triple H? It makes no sense. But obviously, Roman Reigns, he gets the win. He accidentally spears Stephanie along the way to the win. Very mixed signals by WWE on the whole women's division here. Obviously, Stephanie isn't a full-time women's wrestler, nor should she be competing for the title anytime soon. But you've got kind of like Team Total Divas, and then you go, no, we don't like Divas anymore. And then you got women's wrestling, fantastic wrestling, and then you got in the main event a woman on her back. and it just mixed signals all over the pay-per-view for me. Roman Reigns wins, and it doesn't matter how loud you turn up the music, the fans are booing. And we're not booing because it's the cool thing to do, it's because he's not ready. And the fact that he's already a 3-time WWE champion spoils it. It makes him look inept. It doesn't make him look credible in any way. Unfortunately, he just looks like a fluke, quite frankly. And what you need to do, what WWE needs to do, is capitalise on this by turning him heel. Now, the ship has passed for John Cena turning heel. He is the face of this company and will be long after he retires. He will continue doing work for WWE. He will continue doing work for Make-A-Wish Foundation, and he should. But Roman Reigns, it is not too late to turn that man heel. You already have a self-written feud between him and Dean Ambrose. He would look like such a credible threat as a heel. Obviously, I would get him a mouthpiece. I would get him a manager. Obviously, when you say mouthpiece and manager, everyone instantly thinks of Paul Heyman. That could be interesting, but I wouldn't quite go there. I would perhaps get someone else. But in terms of booking, they need to capitalise on all this booing. He's already a heel. And whether he comes to the ring and says, I'm not a bad guy, I'm not a good guy, I'm the guy. I'm sorry, you are not the guy right now. Not until you get given the correct direction from backstage management, from the powers that be. Until you get the go ahead, you are not the guy. Unfortunately not. And it pains me that you're wrestling AJ Styles at Payback, because quite frankly, you're only in there A, to go over a former TNA guy, and B, to be in there with a guy who can put on a great match with anybody, and to make Roman Reigns look good. It's obvious, unfortunately, and it's very, very disheartening that this is how WWE treats their fans. But they have your money, they have your loyalty, and they'll do whatever they want. The show went off the air with Roman Reigns celebrating to Pyro. Visually striking, as always. WrestleMania it was a spectacle, and it dawned on me that WrestleMania has become so big, and I missed out on this earlier, and I do apologise for the whole spot with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mick Foley, and Shawn Michaels coming out after to beat down the League of Nations and interact with the New Day. It occurs to me that WrestleMania is now such a spectacle. It's no longer, in some cases, about the wrestling. It's about the moments in between the matches, the entrances, the New Day entrance, the Snoop Dogg entrance, the Triple H entrance, the segment with the three guys, like I just said. It's a spectacle because you get to see these other elaborate things, and it's kind of like WrestleMania is the spectacle with added matches. The spectacle has become bigger than the matches, in my opinion. And don't get me wrong, we had some great matches on this card, but a lot of missed booking opportunities and questionable decisions make this WrestleMania good, not great. I don't think the fans went home happy. I don't think the fans went home that sense of that sense of wonder, that sense of just everything fell into place as it should have done. but we'll have to see how it plays out. Payback looks like a very strong card, and moving forward, it's going to be interesting. Nothing's predictable at the moment. They caught me completely off guard. The only match I got right that evening was Roman Reigns winning the championship. Only match. So it was a long night. I didn't get to sleep till 5 in the morning. Long pay-per-view, longer than it needed to be, but quite frankly, worth staying up for. I'm glad I watched it. And if anything, if I'm going to take anything away from this WrestleMania, it's that I'm very excited for the WWE Women's Division heading forward, and I'm honestly not sure what to expect next, or where we're going. And that is what wrestling should be. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the show, WWE WrestleMania, and I hope to have you back to listen to the next review of WWE Payback. My name's Lee, and you can catch me in the description below at Film and TV Nerd, my website. You can also catch me on Twitter, which will also be in the description below. And I have a Facebook page, also in the link description below. So, from me to you, I hope you thoroughly enjoyed the show, and I hope to see you back here next time.